Hello, everybody. I bet you were very surprised to see this. It's an actual video, and not just me playing Gundam Battle Operation 2 and clipping my highlights of me kicking ass. Now, what you don't see with that is for every, you know, one of those videos, there's probably like 20 matches of me just getting mauled by the newest dumb meta mobile suit. But I had a really stupid idea for content, so I figured I would try it. And what this is basically going to be is I yap about mobile suits because I don't have anything better to do. Um, I'm a big fan of the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise, and I have, unfortunately, opinions, bad ones. And I figured, where else am I going to complain? I don't think people on Twitter want to hear me complain about mobile suit design. So I'm just gonna force it upon my YouTube. You can put this on in the background, grab a snack. Maybe you want to listen to something that's gonna add some spice into your life because it's gonna be so awful that you want to put it on. I don't know. Put it on while you're drawing or some shit. I don't care. Um, but I'm gonna talk about mobile suits. I would like, I don't know if this is gonna be in this video or the next one. I'm actually gonna try and edit this, so there'll be some funny edits, hopefully. But I would like to yap about mobile suits. And I figured, what's the better place to start than the original series? You know, the classics. You have the classic mobile suits, the mobile suits, them guys, the funny line art guys. Yeah, those guys. So, very first one, it'll be the very first Gundam series, the 1979 Mobile Suit Gundam series. I will probably do this one as just mobile suits, and then I may do another for the goofy vehicles because nobody talks about them. Nobody likes them. I do. Bandai, you listening? You fuckers. You re-release the freaking EX model Magella tank, please. I want like 50 of them. I don't want to pay $100 for a stupid metal spirits or whatever that comes with a Zaku one or something. I don't remember. It was a P Bandai. You know how it is. Everything's a P Bandai now. And if it isn't, it's something you didn't ask for, like another unicorn. Anyway, without further ado, let's start our journey into me talking about mobile suits. And to start it off, we have nothing other than the classic, the man, the myth, the legend himself, the RX 78 2 Gundam. The guy that started it all. You know, the classic line art, the goofy ass line art that people like to redraw all the other Gundams into. What is there to say about this design? It is perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's I wouldn't say it's goofy. It's just the design. You can't really go wrong with it. It's good. It's a good epitome of Federation design. Whereas all the Xeon stuff are weird and rounded. It's supposed to feel more alien. This is more blocky and bulky and weird. The colors are a bit odd, but you know, it was the 1970s or tail end of the 1970s. Drugs were definitely involved in this series. I don't know. Definitely in the story writing department. But the classic RX-78-2 is pretty darn cool, if I don't say so myself. They, I don't know. I don't know what else to really talk about it. It's good. I like it. Um, yeah, he's pretty darn cool. He's piloted by a child that's very mentally unstable, and they were like, "We need to put this kid in the mecha." And then he killed a whole lot of people. So much so that the whole Xeon was like, holy shit, dude, we're getting our ass kicked. So, neat. Very neat design. It's something that I've always noticed, or haven't only recently noticed that trips me up, is that the V-fin, the classic Gundam V-fin is white. I always forget that that only started with Zeta Gundam, and even then, the Zeta it was like orange. But the very first V-fin, it was standard color. It was white, like the other Gundam, like the rest of the mobile suit. which is interesting to me. It seems very iconic. Every other one usually does yellow or gold, and this one is just white. Uh, the gun's cool. Yeah, he has like five different guns. The regular beam rifle's good. It's got the bazooka. It's got a big ball and chain, which never gets used ever again. Why didn't the Zeta Gundam get a ball and chain? Why doesn't the uni? Don't give the unicorn anything. It doesn't deserve shit. Um, yeah, bring that back. That'll be funny. Why doesn't the RX-78-2 get more funny ball and chain weapons? Why can't other mobile suits get ball and chains? I mean, let's Rigo G, but there was like beam yo-yos and beam trees and beam centimeters. But give him something a ball and chain again. That'd be funny. You just, oh, I'm in my Zaku too. Oh, here comes a ball and chain. I mean, the Gacha has its dumb like I almost said whack-a-mole gun. It's got like a jack-in-the-box ball and chain gun, which I guess sort of counts. But add more ball and chain weapons. It'd be funny. But yeah, I guess rounding this off, RX-78-2, pretty cool. You can't hate it. There's a thing with me with franchise stuff where if it's like the epitome of the franchise, I can't hate it. I can't hate the X-Wing, I can't hate the Starship Enterprise, and I cannot hate the Mobile Suit Gundam. So going next, we will do its compatriots, and we'll start off with the RX-75-4 gun tank. It's a tank. It's a brightly multicolored, goofy ass tank. I apologize. I just had to go do something and I completely lost my train of thought. So, the the gun tank. The gun tank. I'm gonna call like half of these things the mans, because that's just my go-to colloquialism. If you like big words. Uh, gun tank is very goofy, but that's why we love the gun tank, because in an age of the legs, they decided no, we're gonna make a mech with tank treads. Um, it's very 60s, 70s, especially with the color scheme and the little goofy little antenna. Also, a glass cockpit on a mech, which is pretty funny. It's not even like armored glass. It's just like a big dome basically at the top. It's even more dome-like on the mass-produced version, but um, they made a tank that can go into space. So like I can't really like dock it. It's good. I like it. It's not much else to say. Um, I can't remember how well it performs in the show. It's been a few years. But it's the gun tank. I can't really say anything else. So we'll be moving on to the RX-77-2 gun cannon. The sort of bridge the gap between the gun tank and the Gundam, the heavy support platform. According to Origin, it's technically a tank. It's considered a tank by the Federation, a walking tank, I guess. But eh, it's another mobile suit. It's like it's classic. I can't really hate it. It's a little goofy. It's very interesting to see how this design evolves over the years and how they sort of mass produce it, and then there's a few other designs. There's always like a design going forward where it's got like two shoulder cannons, or it's like a heavy cannon version. I mean, you got the GM cannon, and then you got the GM Cannon 2, which is more like a gun cannon. And then, of course, you got the mass-produced version, the gun tank, the gun cannon 2, and the gun cannon detector, which is pretty damn cool looking. Only shows up a unicorn and dies, like a lot of other mobile suits. But the original gun cannon it's another classic design. I can't really hate it. The beam rifle is very goofy. Um, I know it's a few other mobile suits used it. And it's also got the famous the pose. You know the pose. Um, it works really good for me as like a predecessor. Like this, it had how Origin set it up that this was their kind of first mobile suit, and it's got the weird little grabby hands, and it just I think it works really good for me as like the Federation's first attempt at a mobile suit. Like we haven't really exactly figured it out yet. It's kind of clunky. It's kind of slow, but we got better things coming here real soon. Two versions. There's a regular and there's a missile pod version that shows up in MSV, and then that new Kookaroo's Dones Island video. Um, the missile version's cool. It's got like a hind helicopter rocket pod strapped to it instead of the two cannons. It's solid design. It'd be like a 7 out of 10 in my book. The gun dumb. The gun dumb is like 9 out of 10. The gun tank would be like 8 out of 10. This would be like 7 out of 10. It's not terrible, but I do like what it represents. I respect it for what it wants to be, but as a design, it's kind of in my opinion. So those are the main three Gundam units, the white base units. Now we have only two other mobile suits from the Earth Federation forces. We have the RB-79 Ball. It's the ball. I do like how Gundam does show a lot of like the pre-mobile suit stuff, and I like how for like 70% of the war, the Federation were just kind of throwing their pilots in the metal coffins and sending them out to war with just a cannon, nothing else, no missiles, no machine guns. You get a cannon, and you better take a Zaku 2 down with you, otherwise we are not giving you a gravestone. Um, it's a ball. It's a ball. There's nothing I can else like. This is the problem with the very first series is that it's establishing a lot and there's a lot of design. It's pretty solid. I don't think I'm gonna have very many controversial opinions with the original series. Now, if we were doing Zeta Gundam, that's a different story. That's a task for another day. I'm assuming I'm gonna get lots of hate mail for my opinion on a lot of Zeta mobile suits. But ball. It's a ball. It sure is a ball. It's funny. I like the design. Um, it's very simplistic. It feels very like hashed together. It also makes sense because it's supposed to be like a work ball for like they use these things to work on colonies, and then the Federation's like, well, we spent no money in mobile suit development, so we're gonna put some armor plating on it and we're gonna send it to war, like a frickin' what do you call them? The Operation Barbossa tractors when Operation Barbarossa happened and the Germans attacked so fast that the Russians didn't have time to send any of their actual good equipment fast enough. So the Soviets were like, see this tractor? We're gonna put boilerplate armor on it and like a 45, and we're gonna call it a day. And we're gonna send it to war. And I don't think any of them did good. I think most people died using them, but it's better than nothing. It's better than just we're gonna send a guy out with a machine gun. At least you're in a ball like the cannon. It's funny because I like playing Mobile Suit Gundam versus it's Federation versus Eon. It's a PS2 game. The Big Zam is it's got the eye field, so if you use a beam weapon, you can't really do anything. And unfortunately, that's you only get like 5 different mobile suits that you can use for the Federation. Um, you can quite easily kill a big Zam with a ball if you're good enough. Like you have a better chance in a ball than you have a GM against the big Zam, which is pretty funny. But yeah, this would be like a yeah, I like it. It's like an 8 out of 10. I like the ball. I can't. How can you hate the ball? Look at it. It's adorable. I bet they make marketable plushies of this thing. That's the kind of design it is. But moving on, we have the last Federation design. It is the RGM-79 GM, the Gym, the GM, the man. I need to stop saying man. I'm gonna say it like 5 times in this video, and you're gonna hate it. But good. It's another it's classic. It's perfect design for a mass-produced Gundam unit. It's blocky. It's cheap, manufacturable. You can make 10 billion variants out of it. And sets the precedence for the Federation designs and what they're going to do going forward. Because they go up to what the GM3, and then you go to the Jagan. I don't know. The Jagan's not really a GM, but it's a good design. I do really enjoy the GM. I love the head design. It's it feels more. I wouldn't say weaker. It feels more like it feels more like producible than a Gundam. You know, the Gundam has the V fin. It feels like a command unit. It feels like an ace unit, and the GM's just sort of like so round. It looks like a goofy little spaceman. It's got a little goofy spaceman gun. Um, I do love the color scheme. The that like I know in a lot of series it's that white color with the red, but I know in the original line art, and then in some of the other one games, it's more of like a what would you call that? Like I want to say cream. It's not a cream. Like a turquoise. It's like a blue, which is it looks pretty good. It's a good contrast to the red. I do love its little spray gun. It's it's good. It's a very good like master. It's just a good design. I can't say anything otherwise. It's great. It's like a 9 out of 10 in my book. I like it more than the others so far. Um, so that would be it for Federation. Their original designs are all pretty solid. I guess we do have one last one. That is the RX-78-2 Gundam B parts. It is counted as a mobile weapon. What am I even supposed to say about it? Look at it. Look at this thing. They thought it was a good idea. Could you imagine going into a boardroom, being the guys that like designed the Gundam, and they designed that core block system, right? And they're like, oh, it's interchangeable. Like you can do different stuff with it. It makes sense. It's like I can see them pitching it now, like in like the board meeting, like, oh, it's interchangeable. It's got a fighter in it. It could do all sorts of stuff. You can turn it into a tank. You can turn it into a fighter. You can turn it into this thing. And then they're like, it can also do this. And the general's like, well, why would we want it to do that? And he's like, well, I don't know. You can do it. You don't have to do it. I don't understand the purpose of it. And then they go with a Gundam program, and when they give the B parts to Amuro on the white base, they're like, can you do this once for the brass? You know, turn into this thing one because I don't remember the episode it shows up in, but that's goofy. That's stupid. That's like, I don't know who thought it was a good idea, both in real life and in universe. Who thought it was a good idea? Yeah, just mash that to that, connect it together. Um, Honorary mention is that one shitty PC Gundam game where they strap the top of the Gundam to the gun tank because it could theoretically do that. Same thing with this, and it's just driving around New York, and then you get killed by a Zaku because you didn't do the input command correctly. I can't even give it a number rating. I don't know if I like it or hate it the more I'm looking at it. But now we're going to Xeon. And Xeon design philosophy is supposed to be the opposite. It's supposed to be like round and curved and sharp. It's supposed to look like aliens because the Xeon people live in tubes. They don't understand what lightning and air is and aerodynamics. That's why when you look at their fighters, it's like, what are you guys doing? Do you know what you're doing? They don't. And that's what's great about their design. You look at other designs, you're like, what the fuck is this? And then, like, 40 years later, they do get Gundam Igloo, and they're like, well, we have all these stupid 1970s designs, and we have to update them. And they did their best, but there's certain designs that they're just like, well, what do we do with this? This is stupid. But I think I'll go more into that in the vehicle video. So we're going to go into the Xeon mobile suits. And I'm going to try and do this in chronological order. And the mobile armors, because the mobile armors are really cool. So we'll start off, and we are going to start where it all started with the MSO5 Zaku 1. The Zaku 1 makes sense to me. It looks like that's a Zaku 1. You know, it's like a stripped down Zaku 2. They're still, well, not stripped down Zaku 2 like what came before it, but it makes sense to me. I don't like the color scheme, the weird blue with the like the deeper green compared to like the lighter green of the Zaku 2. Um, you don't see it too much in the original series. You don't really see it other than Origin, really, where it's like doing anything other than exploding like a Ford Pinto, because that's what it is at this point in the war. It's it's like what, October, November. Zaku 2's coming out. It's been out. It's doing good, and the Zaku 1 just sort of just is surplus at this point. It's driving around to at the M3 Lee in 1944. It's just you wouldn't see it other than like ancillary auxiliary roles. Um, I like it for, like I said, it's sort of the same thing with the gun cannon. I like what it represents. I like how this definitely looks like a Zaku 1, but I don't really like the design. And even when we see it, it just sort of dies. I know there's the one scene in the very beginning. It's like episode 5 or 6, where they go to the second moon, the moon 2, Luna 2. They go there, and Char has like a guy with them that's like, "I'm gonna help you, Char. I'm gonna help you stop this Gundam." And he goes out into combat. And he's like, I'm gonna use the Zaku 1 that we have," and everyone on the ship is like, "You dumbass, don't do that. You're gonna die." He goes out and he like instantly dies like 10 seconds into going and fighting the Gundam. He just gets cleaved in half. Um, and then I think the only other time you see it is right at the very end. There's some poor schmuck at Abawak who has it, and it's like next to a Gelgoog. It's supposed to show like, oh, Xeon, they're on their last legs. They're using the Zaku 1. Like, look at this. It's like our beautiful Gelgoog mobile suit next to this clunker. It's showing how bad things have gotten. It's done pretty dirty in the original series. I know Origin tried to save it, but I'm still not the biggest fan. I think a lot of the variants are cooler. Um, I don't really like the original color scheme. I think the Char's version is pretty cool. I also really love the Zaki 1 sniper type, but that's for unicorns. This is like a 5 out of 10 in my book. It's not terrible, but I like what it represents, but I don't really like it. Um, so yeah, that is the Zaku 1. And then we have the Zaku 2. If you don't like the Zaku 2, you don't have a soul. It's perfect. Like, it's like the definition bad guy mass produce robot. It's been influential to all sorts of shit. It's been influential to me. How can you not love this thing? I love the color scheme. I love its design. It was the first thing I've ever seen about Gundam, so I'm probably heavily biased. But like everyone in Gundam, every single Gundam fan out there has a Zaku 2 in their collection. If you don't, you need to buy one right now. There's only 100 different versions you can buy, but Zakuju is like perfect. It's just a perfect design. The original line art here is a little clunky. I know there's a few designs that try and, you know, shift things around, make it a little more better looking. I know it's a little soft. It's pretty soft looking in the original line art, but looking at any like model kit or how it shows up in video games, it's great. The weird asymmetrical shoulders are awesome. The weapon is iconic. The Zaku machine gun and the bazooka. It's just iconic. There's nothing I could say is bad about the Zaku 2. It looks like a spaceman, but he's like a barbarian, and he comes at you with an axe and cleaves you in half. It's good. It's kind of funny how both of the main mass produced units, the GM and the Zaku 2, are both like spaceman kind of. Uh, that's pretty funny, but I can't really gush too much about the Zaku 2. It's just like it's perfect. It's perfect. So next would be the Zaku 2. It would be Char Zaku 2, or the Zaku, or the MS-06. If you want to get technical, you one of them people that likes to get technical. I bet you are, weirdo. You fucking weirdo. Yeah. Um, I do like the little antenna. It's good. Um, Antenna's pretty good, but other than that, it's just a Zaku 2 that's very bright pink because Char. How is he the Red Comet, but all of his mobile suits are pink? Like only like like that's like 30% of the mobile suit's actually red. Is Xeon colorblind? Oh well, I guess technically was it more red in orange? I don't know. It's pink in this. It's pink. That being said, Charizard 2 is also iconic. I can't really hate it. It doesn't really do anything for me. It's just another Zaku 2. So, but I do like the command fin as it's called. It's a good juxtaposition to the Gundam, the Gundam, the Gundam's V fin as like a command unit. But I don't think they do the V fin really a whole often. after. So what will we be doing next? I'm trying to think chronologically. It has to be the Goof or the Gauf. Um, Also really solid. A little old line art's pretty stinky, like I mentioned, but I like if you put the Zaku 2 and the Goof next to each other. Like they're very obviously like the same. Like they're like the it's like the bigger brother. It's beefier. I like the curved horned shoulder pads. Um, it just looks like a beefier Zaku. It looks really good. The weapons are weird. It's got the weird energy whip. It's got the weird finger gloves, the finger guns. Um, Ramba Rawl uses it, so that's automatically some added points. Something I was going to comment on is that what's funny is that, Ramba Rawl uses this thing, and the Black Tri-Stars use the Doms. And after the fact, every single time we see these units, they're all in the same color. So you don't see like a green goof or Gauf in the original series. You don't see another color to the Dom. They're all the goofs are blue and the Doms are pink and black. And then after the series came out, they revealed like, oh, those are actually like the Ace unit colors. So Ramba Raw, all of his other units are blue, and the Dom, all the Black Tri Stars, all their other units are like black and purple. So that begs the question: what the hell is the actual original color to these mobile suits? So did they just like did Ramba Roll was he the first one he painted it blue and then everyone else was like, oh well, I guess I have to paint mine blue now because you don't see any other colored goofs. You only see them really blue. Even the custom from 8th MS teams like that lighter blue. And then some of the other ace units are also blue. They're always blue. Like, wouldn't it not make sense? I don't know. Wouldn't it be green? Wouldn't it make more sense to be more like a Zaku and make it green? Same thing with the Dom. I've actually seen if you play GBO 2, the Dom in that game, the default color scheme isn't that like exact colors of the black tri-stars. It's like a lighter blue almost, which is interesting. But it's something I thought about. Is just it's funny how those were the original colors, and then turns out oh those are the Ace colors, but now everyone's rocking the Ace colors in the original series. I want to see cooler colors on a goof though. The blue is iconic, but um, a fun fact: originally it was supposed to be a counter to the Gundam, and it was supposed to have a core system, and the weird cockpit design was supposed to be the nose of a DOP, which is evident in one of the MSV. There's like a Garma goof, and it has that system. But I think that would have taken away from the design for me. It feels really silly to have like it makes sense like I guess it makes sense for the Gundam to do that, but for multiple suits to do that, it's I don't know. They never the core system like never shows up again, except it does. That's a lie. That's a major lie. Zeta was like, "Nah, we're not doing it," and then everything else was. Double Zeta did it, and then Unicorn didn't, and then Hathaway didn't, and I'm getting off topic. The goof is cool. It's a beefy Zaku, except it's not a Zaku. As you know, it's not a Zaku. Um, Good design though. That would be like 8 out of 10 for me. Maybe 9 out of 10. I do like the goof. I have the high grade, the proto goof from the Origin line. That thing is like solid. That thing is awesome. If you can, I don't know. It's probably like $70 now, but like that's a great kick. The Dom, the famous black TriStar Dom, the big skirt dude with the bazooka and the big rod it uses to smack you with. Pretty weird design, frankly, in my opinion. I've never really liked like the beefier. The Dom series really never really did anything for me. Um, the original, at least. I think a lot of the other variants, like the Rick Dom 2, the Dom Trope, and the Dryson and the Dwaj, all do a lot more. I think they're a lot more interesting. But they're all basically just riced up versions of the original Dom. It's just, it's not terrible. I don't hate it, but the design has never really done anything for me. It's really ironic because right next to me I have my Dom, my little Dom high grade prototype. I like how I'm not gonna bring that up. It's getting off topic, but it's kind of funky. It's definitely unique. Um, I do like how a lot of the series try and bring it back. They like redesign. They make like one of their mobile suits fatter and give it a bazooka. And it's like, oh, that's the Dom of the series. The little flashbang chest thing is neat. It comes very handy in games where you can just flashbang your enemy. That'd be obnoxious though if you were fighting somebody and they just flashbang. They have a built-in flashbang generator on its chest. That'd be horrible. But the Dom doesn't really do it for me. It's okay. I don't hate it, but I don't really love it either. It'd be like a 6.5, 7. It'd get a C. It'd be like a C. Yeah, it'd be a C. It'd be straight C. My ranking system changed, but I like the bazooka design. Bazooka's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking at the alternate color scheme. It seems that the other units are more like a light purple. I think that looks better than the or than this deeper purple color. The 8th MS team at least does it. I think that looks pretty good. It is a good. It's like a good beefy shock trooper, and I do like how it hovers. I think that's cool. It would make sense that with conquering the entirety of Earth, you design something that could move really fast, and so the Dom makes sense. Like, oh, the Zaku 2, they make the Zaku 2, and they make the land version, and they're like, oh, this is slow. We don't like this. We need to make something faster. It makes logical sense to make something that can hit hard, do raids, and move very fast. So I do like what it stands for, but the design itself is like, it's okay. It's not terrible. It's not amazing either. Um, so what is next? I guess it would be all of the. Oh, I guess we can briefly mention the Rick Dom. It's just a Dom with ass boosters. There you go. That's my thoughts on the Rick Dom. So I guess now we would be going into the aquatic suits. There's quite a bit in this series. I think that's the most. There's like, let's count. One, two, three, four. Four, I guess. And to start off, we have the Gog. Fat. I don't like it. Um, it's fat. I don't like it. I really love the Thunderbolt version where they make it ripped and it's like weird and gangly and beefy and it looks like a scary demon. But the original Gog just looks like an egg. It looks like a big egg that they put. It looks like Mr. Potato Head. It's just weird. It's got like chest guns. It's got the big goofy claws. It's just ugly. I don't really like it. Um, I think the other aquatic mobile suits make more sense to me. Like that this is aquatic. I think it makes sense. I think that the Gog's early, so it does make sense that maybe they were trying to. I'm just now looking at the line art. Like, look how far its like feet go up. Ugh, it's like a dumpling. It's just goofy. It's like the worst way to go about making an aquatic design because I do like the others, but this one is just wrong. They made an egg, they gave it stump legs, and they gave it like Freddy Krueger hands, and they called it a day. The prototype is even uglier. I hate that thing. That thing's so disproportionate looking. This is like a 5 out of 10. It's I can't. I don't know. Probably even lower. I'm gonna say 5 out of 10. If I keep thinking about it, it's gonna be lower. Next would be the Akai. Look at him. It's like it's got like the opposite of what the Gog's going on. Like it looks like a dumpling, but it makes sense. It doesn't look stupid. It looks good. Um, it looks cute. I've always liked the Akai. That used to be my favorite for a long time. The Akai was my favorite mobile suit, and then things changed. I do like it. It makes sense as like an aquatic. It looks weird. It looks different. It's alien. It's very alien. But it still looks very Xeonic. I do like it. Take a shot every single time I say I do like it though, because you'll die. Haha. I'm killing you. Um, I like the Akai. I can't really say too much about it. It's only seen in the beginning of Jaburo. Jaburo. I like its weird asymmetrical weapon system. I like how one hand has the claw and it has an extendo fist, which is always cool to have on a mech. If your mech doesn't have an extendo fist, it's bad. I'm sorry to say this. If you don't have extendo arms on your mobile suit, bad. Both my favorite Gundam and my favorite mobile suit have extendo arms, so I'm probably very biased here, but and the Zogok does, and that's another one of my favorites. So gets points in my book for that. I like him. I like that guy. It's cool. It's kind of fallen out. I think proportionally, I think the head looks a little too big, and I guess that problem gets amplified on the Ag guy. I don't know if I'm saying that. They make them sound. Gundam. The creators of Gundam made up the names the stupidest things, and they wanted it to insult the fans, so that when they're talking about it, they're like, "Ugh, is your favorite the Hama Hama or is it the Bawu? Do you like the Ak guy or the Ag guy or the Juwagu? Do you like the Zegok or do you like the Zogok? They're two different, completely different mobile suits. And if you don't know the difference, I'm smashing you with a hammer. Um, that being said, that being said, the Yak guy's cool. It'd be like 7.5 out of 10. Uh, Interesting color choice on it. The browns. It's got a better brown than the Gog. Like the Gog's like a gaudy, like gold and like brown, and this is more like a like it'd be like deep sea reddish almost instead of a brown. I think a lot of the other things make it more brown, but in the original line art here, it's like a reddish. It looks pretty good, but it's kind of a goober. He's a goober. The ad guy is a goober. Speak of the devil. Next, we have the Zegok. That made a man into a crab. It's great. It's this line art doesn't do it any justice, but it's cool. It's really cool. It's a big crab man with grabby claws. It looks this is what a amphibious mobile suit looks like in my mind. It's rounded. It's got the weird claw hands. It's got weapon systems built into it. Uh, the original color scheme's pretty good. I love the Xeon Romain color scheme from Unicorn. The like green. That looks really good. It looks awesome in that color scheme. But the original is pretty good too. This would be like an 8 out of 10 design for me. The Thunderbolt version sucks ass. That design is so disgusting. I'm looking at it right now. It's hideous. There's nothing. It's everything. It's just hideous. Like, it's making me lose my mind. I cannot speak correctly now looking at it, so I'm gonna move on. We do have a brief thing with Char Zegok, which is a command Zegok, I guess. No, it would be it's just Charzygok. I guess there isn't a command, but it has the same designation. But I was thinking earlier when I was thinking about making this video. Do we ever see another command Zegok ever? I think it's just Char. I don't know if they. I don't. Gundam's weird. Like you look at sources, and it's like there were 300 mobile suits at the Battle of Jaburo, and then there's another one where it's like there's like 64 of them. It's like okay, but we don't really see the Zegok too often, funnily enough. It's kind of like the one. I guess the Gog is more the one that everyone thinks is ugly. But yeah, the Command Zegok is just red Zegok. It's more of a crab now. It throws a tank that one time. It kills the GM. It's the famous scene where Amro's like, "Is that Char?" And it's like, it's red, dude. I don't know. You tell me. Is that Char Amuro? And last but not least, for the aquatic guys, we have the Zoc. Oh my goodness. They made a building angry and part crab. This thing is huge. It's very goofy looking. It's more technically more of an egg than the Gog, but this thing looks. They make it work. with the Gog, they're like it's a fat dude. And when I think of like aquatic, I don't think like fat. I don't think like a fat dude like looking at the Gog, it's like that thing would not be swimming. That thing would be like on an inner tube going down the lazy river 4 drinks in. And the Yak guy's like rolling around at the bottom, and the Z guy's at the bottom, and the Zoc is at the bottom. But the Gog, he's floating. He's not. He's aquatic, as in he can go in the water, and the other ones are like they go in the water. But I love the Zoc. It's just so goofy. There's that one famous screen cap of it where it's like the new weapon, the Zoc. Look how fearsome it is, and it's like the most off-model drawing of it imaginable. It's not in the original series very long. I forget the dude's name that pilots it. It's like a weird Russian name, and he shows up like 10 seconds in it, and I think the Gundam just kills it. Amuro sees it, he's like, "Oh my god, it's an egg!" and just flops it in half. I don't think we ever see it that often either. A lot of the aquatic suits you just don't see, which kind of sucks because I like the Zoc. It's goofy. It's fun to play in GBO too because people don't expect you to smack them with your big claws, but you can do it. Uh, I hope they don't ruin 450. That's like the only cost that's fun now. But yeah, it's an egg with lasers poking everywhere. I like how it can flip its eyeball all the way around. It has like it's on like a complete rotation. The little Model Y. It's also the only I think it's the only yellow-eyed Model Y in the original series, which is interesting. You see that a little later in Unicorn, but a little interesting design choice. I like the Zoc. Zoc's like pretty high up there. It'd be like 10 out of 10. uh, there's also a weird four-legged version. I don't know what this is from, but it looks like it has like a mouth. I don't like it, but original's good. I do like him. And so with that, that is all the aquatic mobile suits. I do have a soft spot for them since they were some of the first ones I'd ever seen, and I have a lot of kits from them. I remember really like playing a lot of them in Federation versus Eon. I had a big soft spot for them. They were all really fun to play. So that's, I think, all of the ground war standard mobile suits. So now we would be going back into space after the Battle of Odessa, when Xeon got its ass kicked and Kuve tried to do a war crime and ruin the fun for everyone. Um, and firstly, we have I mentioned the Rick Dom, but that's technically the first one we see. And we got the Gelgoog. What a dumb name. What a dumb name for a very cool mobile suit. If you would ask me what I thought about the Gelgoog like 5 months ago, I'd be like, this thing sucks and I don't like it. But something happened. Something happened in between those few months, and I just love this thing. I don't like its weird like nose snout. There's some versions of it that have like a mouth vent, and I think that design looks awesome. Like I don't really see the semblance of how this thing's a design evolution off of honestly, there's no design evolution at all with Xeon suits, but as this thing being like the King Tiger, the like last production run heavy hitter, it's pretty rad. The gun design's cool. The big shield is cool, and it's probably why they couldn't build too many of them, because they're wasting all the material on the shield. They were wasting material on stupid mobile armors. That's where all their budget went. But the Gelgoog's cool. I really like it. The color scheme's pretty good too. I like the overall gray look with the hint of green in the center. It's a pretty good color scheme. If you were to ask me like 5 months ago, it would have been like a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Now it's like 9. Pretty pretty cool. Pretty cool design. I love the little. It was technically the second mobile suit I had a kit of too, so I also have a little bit of bias for that. I like the weird like crest look it has. It looks very like honor guard. Like it looks like that these are the guys defending the capital, which it's true, but it doesn't really look like it'd be like a mass-produced unit. It looks like it'd be more like a command unit. But regardless, it's pretty cool. And then we have the Gelgoog Commander type. Ah ha ha! It's Chars again. It's pink. Uh, yeah, pink Gelgoog. That's all I can say. Nothing much else to say. Oh, here we go. The Gan. The Gan. The Gian. What do you think of the Gian? It sucks. I hate it. It's stupid. I don't like Makuve. I don't like the Gian. I don't like his obsession with vases. He probably snorts some sort of substance out of all those stupid vases he has. And I don't like his stupid mobile suit. The only thing I like about the Gian is, like I say, the color scheme's pretty good. That's pretty good, and I love the head design actually. I think that looks really cool. It would look really good as like an honor guard unit. But why doesn't it have a gun? Why does it only have like a dumb missile shield that doesn't do anything in any game you play as it? I don't like it. It's just stupid. You don't ever see really anything advanced from it either. I guess the R Jarja. Here we go, Gundam making me say stupid words again. The R Jarja is supposed to be like Gian Mark II, and that thing's pretty cool. That thing is pretty cool. But this thing is stupid, and I don't like it. But as like the night motif is cool, but they should have toned it up a little more. Because I just don't like this thing. It's just dumb. It only shows up this Mikuve using it, and it's supposed to be pretty sure. It is saying here that it was first deployed December 26th, Universal Century 0079. So this thing was used for like a day and then it exploded. So this thing is supposed to be the next generation of mobile suit. It was supposed to be a competitor to the Galgug. And wow, what a great competitor. It doesn't have any other weapon system. It just has a shield with missiles in it and mines. This thing is going to win the war, guys. We made the coolest thing ever. It's got a sword you can poke people with. Lame. This is like a 3 out of 10. The night motif and the head design and the colors say this. So you get a point for each of that. The rest of it sucks ass. And then, last but not least, we have the Xiong. Xiong. I remember as a kid, I thought the words Xiong, whatever it is, I thought it was like so lame. Because I didn't really, I didn't, when I was first playing Federation versus Xeon, I didn't know the plot. So I was just like, I like the Zaku. And then Garma exploded, and I was like, who's that guy? Why did the purple hair guy die? I don't understand what's going on. So when I saw the Xeon for the first time, I was like, so they tried making because I saw the big stupid antenna poking off of it. And I thought that was supposed to be like the V fin. Like it's sort of vaguely Gundam-esque in the head design. It's like a weird like Xeon Gundam head. Um, I just thought it was like the lamest thing ever because it's like, oh, it's like a bootleg Gundam. It doesn't have legs, which I didn't know at the time, and it's just called Xeon with a G. Oh, how creative! It's what a weird. I wonder why they didn't go with the legs, because like it seems like such a weird choice. Even like realistically, with the actual lore implications, it makes sense. It's like okay, we ran out of material, we can't finish the legs on the thing, even though we built like four of these. But what I do like is I think the cool extendo Saikamu hands are cool, but why didn't they just give it leg? Like I mean, I know the perfect Xeon's a thing, but why didn't they just give it legs when they were animating? Maybe they ran out of budget, but I think complete it looks really weird, but I think is this weird half-ass, half-finished. We're running out of time and we're losing the war idea behind it is cool. It's also huge. Like that's the thing that tripped me up. Every single time I look at it, I think like, oh, it's like standard size, but like without its legs, it's as tall as the Gundam. It's a flipping huge mobile suit. It also has the head that detaches and is an escape pod, which is pretty funny. I don't think we ever see that ever again. Char learned his lesson when he was designing the Sazabi. He was like, I need to have an escape capsule, except he made it a basketball in the Sazabi. Whereas with this one, it could actually attack, which is cool. You get that one last little laugh, it blows the head off the Gundam, and then the Gundam moves on its own and blows the head up. I don't know. It's probably some new type bullshit. But I like how this thing has guns everywhere. I like the cool finger gun thing. The lasers in the hands are really cool. I don't know why they gave it such a big stupid skirt though. I don't know. There's a lot of designs in Gundam. They love their skirts. Japan loves their skirts, let me tell you. Numerically ranking it, it would be like a 7. 7 out of 10. Not much for me to hate on it. It's just sort of odd. But I can't hate on it for being that odd. Because it makes me it makes it memorable. Alright, so that is all of the mobile suits. I will also be doing the mobile armors because I love mobile armors. Mobile armors are so cool. They're one of my favorite parts of Gundam because they're like boss battles. They show up out of nowhere, and it's like we gotta fight. You've been fighting robots. You've been fighting, human-sized robots. You've been fighting tanks, and now there's a squid thing trying to kill you. There's a big two-legged thing that's gonna step on you, and it can't be destroyed unless you blow a hole in its ass and then throw a grenade in it. We jumped in the ocean, and now like a submarine with a face is trying to eat us. It's always been fun. Mobile armors always just were interesting to me. We hardly get any new ones now. It seems that they're like afraid to make more. Um, the ones in IBO were pretty cool, but I am a big fan. I am a big fan of mobile armors. And the very first one we see is the Adzam. Hmm. Where have I seen that before? I love the Adzam. It's a big stupid onion they put VTOL engines on. It's just so weird. It's such a weird design as just like a concept of a weapon. Like what is it like it's designed specifically to hunt the Gundam because it's got the weird little what are they called leaders? It's got the caged leader things that it deploys. Um it's just weird. Like, what is this thing designed for? What is its purpose? It's like it's big enough where it's like a huge target, but like it's just a big weird onion spider thing with like battleship guns sticking. I just love it for the absurdity of it. It's just such a the first time I saw it playing Federation vs. Xeon, I burst out laughing. I was like, "What is that? What is this thing? Why is it like this?" Ever since then, I've loved it. It's also not that big. It's pretty small. It's just weird. It's like an eight. It's like a 8, 9 out of 10 in my book. It's just for the absurdity of it. It's just a weird vehicle. Um, the second level armor is the Grabro, also called the Grublo, but I don't like calling it that because it sounds gross. The Grabro is an aquatic mobile armor, which is pretty rare. I think the only other series that had aquatic mobile armors was Double O. And the Grabro is a submarine with arms. That's like the most blunt way I can describe it. They gave us submarine arms. It's very much related to another mobile armor. I'm gonna show you, but it's just like we put arms on the submarine and we called it a day. That was Xeon's like it's look at it. It's weird. It's a weird crab submarine. Xeon loved their seafood, definitely. That was probably like the one thing they were looking forward to. They were like, I can finally eat crab. Or maybe they were mystified by crabs. Maybe they were like, why would we make a submarine? We can make a crab. We can make crab robots that can destroy shipping. And we could make a submarine and make it have crab arms and call it a day. And we'll have the seas. We'll rule it like the Germans did in World War II with the U-boats. But instead of U-boats, it's submarines with arms. It's just an absurd concept. The pilot of this Grabro is Boone. He's a guy. He's a submarine commander, and his submarine, which has an angry face, by the way, deploys another submarine with arms. A lot of the reasons I like the mobile armors is just for the absurdity of them, and this one is no exception. I love the Grabro. I love it in Federation versus Xeon because it doesn't have any animation for the arms. It just sort of like swings them forward, so its melee attack is it just like thrusting the arms like forward, just like on a hinge. It looks so stupid, but it's pretty fun to play. But yeah, because it's aquatic, you don't really see this thing get brought up a lot in games because there's hardly any times you would be on an only aquatic map. Because at least with the 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 Xeon aquatic suits, they can at least go on land. This someone needs to animate this thing walking around on its arms, call it a day. But you don't really see too much about this thing. I know Thunderbolt brought it back, and it explodes in the Arctic, and then it falls, and due to the pressure, it literally
My
crushes and
dogs
collapses itself
don't
into a
leave me
ball, which is
here.
pretty funny. But Grabber's like 7 out of 10. Yeah, it's 7 out of 10. It's a little goofy, but and then we have the Big Row. The Big Row is good. I love the Big Row. I love the idea behind it because it wasn't the original thing. Because originally it's just like, oh, this is a weird thing that the Gundam has to fight. Like, oh, villain of the week. Here's the weird submarine, but now it's in space. But what I like about the Big Row is that the lore is very cool for it because originally, before Xeon was going to go with the mobile suits, before the Zaku, before they'd like had faith in it, when they were like, oh, we can make a walking weapon. And Xeon was like, nah, I don't know if that's gonna work. The people that made the Big Row came forward and they had the prototype. I forget the name of it, but it's basically the Big Row without arms and like it's like a weird smaller space cruiser just like loaded with guns. And you're like, why have legs when you could have this stupid thing? And I guess that makes sense. How the Grab Row came about was that the company that made these was like, we can just make a Big Row for everything. But the Big Row's cool. I do like how it actually is mass produced. A lot of these mobile armors you only see once. Like you see a couple Adzams a few times. You only see the one or the two technically if you go by Thunderbolt, two Grabros. The one after the Zakrella you never see again. You don't see another Big Zam. It keeps just like coming back. You don't see another Brabro. You don't see another Elmith. But you see a lot of Big Rows. They mass produce this thing in some numbers. I forget which show it was or which game. There's a cutscene in it might have been even the original movie, but you see like a squad of them attack like a bunch of GMs. Like you see like 3 or 4, which is pretty cool to see this thing in producible numbers. It is just such a weird design. It's just like a weird spaceship with arms. Um, I like it. It's another like I said, the mobile armors are weird, and this one's pretty weird. And speaking of weird, I guess okay, let me wrap this up. This is like an 8 out of 10 design for me. Pretty cool. I thought about 3D modeling it, but there's some other stuff I'd like to do first. But it would be pretty fun to model this thing. And the next one, speaking of weird, I don't know what to think of this thing. It's just like a mishmash. Um, there's definitely drugs involved in the making of this thing. It was the 70s with the 70s. Like, what was the thought process behind it? Because with a lot of the stuff, you can see, I guess, the idea behind the mobile armor. You know, the Adzam is like a fast response weapon platform that can easily move around and it can hover over the battlefield and be battlefield support or observation. It makes sense. The Grabro is a heavier unit that's smaller and lighter and is probably less detectable. It can work in conjunction with the mobile suit teams, and it can be in aquatic operations. The Big Row is a weapons platform that can operate with mobile suits, and it can operate in squadrons. So it makes sense that that thing is mass producible, and I understand the point of it. Big Zam, big stupid dumbass weapon. Makes sense though. It's like a big like mouse tank almost. Brabro is a prototype and it's like oh it's like a big energy weapons platform. It's there's trying to get the kinks out, so that's why it's so huge. And the Elmeth is sort of a continuation, like a more streamlined reflection of that. And then there's like Carl, you're just kind of like what the fuck was the idea behind this thing? It's a weapons platform, but like it's got blade arms, it's got a mouth, it's got eyes. The mouth doesn't even look that threatening. It's got like rocket pods, it's got like torpedoes, it's got like strawberries on the back of it. Like I don't think they ever explain what the strawberries on the back of it. Because I thought those were missiles, but no, they're just like strawberries on its. It has another face on its ass. Look at that. It looks like a dumb bug. It's just weird. And what's funny with Gundam is that a lot of times they try and like modernize designs, right? Like with Igloo, they have a lot of mobile suits and vehicles where they're like, this was in the 50s, or I'm sorry, the 60s. I'm sorry, the 70s. This is the 70s just like cartoon vehicle design, and we have to take this and make it cool. And there's sometimes they make it just look awesome. Like you look at the Dob Day in the original, which I already like that design, and then they just make it look awesome. And you got like the Wappa, like the goofy little flying motorcycle, and that thing just looks like beyond stupid. And then you see it in Igloo, and you're like, oh, I understand how this thing works now. Like seeing someone actually take this design and like not fix it, but just refine it and make it look more realistic. Even with the tank, like the M61A5, you look at the original one of that, it looks like a brick. And then they redefined it in 8th MS Team, and then Igloo further did it, and it looks like an actual tank now. They have like a respect where they're trying to bring the idea to life more than what the 70s was. And they've been like ignoring the Zacrello. There's like a few times it's actually no. It's they don't there's no consistency. Like every time this thing shows up, it's either one-to-one original goofy design or it's some bizarre redesign where they're trying to fix it. Like even me, I've thought about like I should try and redesign this thing. The biggest thing I would do, I would make it more like the Big Row, and I was gonna give it two mono eyes. Like keep the face, keep it make it so it looks like design. It looks vaguely like it has a mouth, like the Shamblo or the Valwalo, where it has like mouth like design pieces, but keep it so where it still looks like it's part of the design. Like the gun is more in the mouth and it's housed, and then maybe someone bolted teeth on. Dimitri, the pilot of this stupid thing that looks like a racist caricature, probably bolted the teeth on. But there's like no consistently like redesign for this thing. Like they don't know what to do with it. Like they love it, but at the same time are like, well, we can never bring this thing back because we don't know how to fix it. Um, as for the goofiness factor, it gets like a 10. It's very goofy. But as for the design, I love things with faces in it. I love like you're gonna see once I get to the other stuff, some of the other mobile suits. I freaking love it. But this thing is just so bizarre and weird that I don't really vibe with it. It's like a 6, maybe 5. The color scheme's pretty all over the place actually. It has like a Zanscare color scheme. This is like a Zanscare suit more than anything, but that came out like 30 years later. So yeah, it's odd. So next mobile armor we have is the Brabro. Is the Brabro the next one? I'm gonna say the Bravo's the next one because the I think it's the Big Sam. We're gonna do the Big Sam. What can you say about the Big Sam? What a what a what a weird. It makes I like it for what it represents. This is like the mouse of Xeon. They made a big, dumb, unstoppable weapon, and they put all of their money into it. Like they could have probably had like 30 more Gelgoogs, but instead they put all their resources into making a big dumb battle platform that doesn't have arms. It just has legs. Um, it's just different. It's very weird. You don't ever see other stuff like this in Gundam show up. Like all the mobile, like it's funny because the Big Zam is so iconic. You'd think like, oh, a Xeon Remain thing would show up. Like, here's the Big Zam too. Look at it. We've given it arms, but they don't. They do a whole lot with this design, but like they don't do anything like in the universe. Like, there's a lot of weird redesigns. There's that one weird Federation Big Zam. But the actual Big Zam looks pretty cool. I like the idea behind it. It's like the last stand weapon of Xeon. Like it's like the last spirit of Xeon. It looks like a big bug. Looks angry. It looks evil. It's got like the weird like spine things coming off of it. Like the impression of like a cape. Like it just looks angry. Like it's just the embodiment of Xeon. It's just we're pissed off that we're stuck in these tubes. We don't know how to design things, so here's this thing coming to destroy your ships in one hit. And it's invincible. It's pretty cool in that regard. And it's just covered in guns. It's just a walking weapons platform. It's a walking fortress. It works. It's different, but it's weird and it's cool. I like the Big Zam. It's like an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 in my book. And so yeah, I guess we would go to the last two, which are the new type. And we're starting off with the Brabro. Um, weird. It's big. That's the one thing that's really surprising to me is how big it is. It's pretty darn big for what it is. Like a pretty big target. And this is another thing where like there's been attempts to redesign it. The one redesign I remember was really weird. It doesn't even look like the same vehicle. It looked like a burning husk. So I don't know the context behind it, but it's odd, like all the other old warmers. Weird curved look. Um, I don't know. Like I don't really vibe with it. It's just there's nothing really for me to like about it. I like appreciate that it's a prototype and it's a big clunky dumb prototype that explodes, but I can't really say I really like it that much. So I would say that's like six. It just like exists. There's nothing for me to really hate, but I don't really like it either. And I believe this is the last one. And we've saved the worst for last. Haha, it's the Elmeth. It's Lala's dumb thing. An angry pine cone with jet engines. This thing's weird. Um, there's a lot of weird shapes going on. Like it's got like a beak. If you look at it from the front, it's got a beak. And it has like the same vibe as the Big Zam, where it's got all these weird spiky edges coming off of it. In the freaking show, they call it the tricorn hat, which I don't remember hearing, which I thought was pretty fun. It's got two little goofy like guns poking out of it as like its only other defense system, and then it does the little funnel bits that come out of it. But it's just got a lot of weird design stuff to it. Like all the just weird stuff to it going on. I like the shape of it, but it's just the form of it is weird. Especially that weird back part that goes forward just looks really odd to me. I like how it's green. It fits Xeon's aesthetic very well. But I don't like Lala, and I like seeing this thing explode a lot. So
Good.
uh, 5 out of 10. Doesn't really do anything for me. It was used on my birthday. Wow! What a good birthday present. I got to see it explode. But yeah, so that is all the mobile weapons in the original Gundam series. I hope you enjoyed this video, if I ever release it. Gonna try and edit it, and we'll see. I'll probably do a vehicle for the Mobile Suit Gundam, and then I'll do Zeta Gundam. And with those, I'll be a little more harsh on certain mobile suits because there's a lot to talk about there. With this one, like I said, it set a lot of precedents. It set a lot of things we see later on in the series, so I have to respect it for starting it. And a lot of the designs here, like the Dom, I don't really care for, but the Dom made a bunch of designs off of it that I do like. So I do have to respect certain aspects of this like that. Um, yeah. So that's about it. Um, I guess I'll end this video by giving a little bit of an inspirational message. Don't put peanut butter on ham sandwich. Okay, bye.